Hey, we're so glad you're here today. We are going to be talking about whether this business is a good business, and we're going to be talking about a mobile business today, so check it out. All right, so we were driving in Tampa, and Tampa has crazy traffic anyways. And they have a lot of crazy vehicles, right?
Oh, there's people doing crazy stuff all the time.
So we saw this big old crazy, I called it a van, you called it a...
It's a party bus.
Okay, whatever. But
think limo, think party bus.
But it wasn't just a party bus. It wasn't the black ones with the black tinted windows that you don't know what's going on in the party. It was, actually,
it is one of those.
But it had writing all over the side, right? And come to find out, it was actually a mobile business. So, we're curious. We like to look at marketing and we like to look at things. So we start reading. I said, that's very fascinating. I said, that's pretty good marketing. It was a barber shop. It was a mobile barbershop. It was called Executive Barbershop, and it's like fades, mohawks, shampoos, blah, blah, blah. And it said on here, this line that I thought was super good copy. It said, how valuable is your time? How valuable is your time? And I was like, well, shoot, for a mobile business, like a mobile barbershop, I was like, how valuable is your time? And I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, if I was something, and then it said executive barbershop. I'm like, ooh, executive. Like my time is valuable. I'm an executive. Then I would hire this party bus to come give me a party haircut.
Walk outside on lunch, come back in.
Super
all
good,
fresh
right?
And cleaned up.
So then we started talking about this. Is that actually a good business model?
So I don't know, right? Like
there's questions to be had.
There are a lot of questions.
Well, first of all, I tried to look it up online and I couldn't find it. So that's a problem. But anyways, go ahead.
But they did have a phone number. So since you weren't actually interested, you were just trying to snoop.
True.
You could have called. But so like the first thing, like full disclosure, we don't know this person. We don't know who runs this business.
I don't know anything about it because I couldn't find a website. That's how.
But we were just we're making assumptions, right? So we'll start there. But in some of those assumptions, I have to wonder, like, is it valuable enough to drive to a business and pull up and cut one person's hair?
I would hope not. What I said is I hope that they get offices to like hire them out and they go and they cut like 20, 30 people's hair. Because think about it this way. And this is where I was thinking about, okay, is a mobile business a viable business? Well, it depends.
Yeah, for sure.
It depends. Think about it. Like if I said, do you want to own a mobile business? You may say yes, you may say no. If you hate driving, you say no. So I'd say no. But
I'd probably say no too. But
the thing is like not all businesses are necessarily a good idea because you have to do the math at the beginning.
For sure. Oh yeah. Like you have to understand the next question I guess is, does the market even care about that? Right? 'Cause like
I could see it being a good thing.
So could I. But in my head also, right? Because I worked in corporate and
I've seen traveling masseuses.
True. Okay.
People who travel and do like workouts with people in corporate, like.
Okay, well, I guess for me, like the corporate situation that I was in, I would assume that like there were some people that got haircuts like on the regular. I would assume that they had a spot and they wanted to go to that spot so they could talk to their like. There's a little bit of there's a little bit of bromance that probably goes on in some barbershops, right? Like they're friends. Like if you've gone there consistently for years, like you have conversations about things, and so there's like this experience that happens when you go to your barbershop.
Unless you make this of course, I guess it's a van. You can't fit that many people in there, so it's a very quick in and out experience.
Well, I mean, even if you could fit a couple people in there, there's still.
Yeah, all right, so you're changing the experience one.
Yeah.
So do people want that experience to change?
Exactly.
I don't know. What do you think? Like, do they want that experience to change? So, but even say it was viable. So yes, like, does the marketplace want it? So you always have to be thinking from the marketplace.
Oh, 100%.
So the first question is this business a good idea? Well, the first thing is it something the marketplace wants? If the answer to that is no, then the rest of our conversation, I guess, is that
it's a wrap. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right. So, but say for...
Argument's sake?
Yes, for this conversation that we're having right now, you and I, and you can be a part of it too. Is say that like, I know, I do. I try. Do you want to go to the barbershop? No. So, you got it. Anyway, so say the marketplace wanted it. Mm-hmm. And so they were listening to the marketplace, and the marketplace wanted it, so they had clients right away. Okay. Say that. Okay. But then what happens, okay, so say they go because somebody's they have this high exec who works all the time and is like, hey, come to my office, I want a cut. So they go to get a cut. How much, feasibly, yes, I understand this dude has a lot of money, you're driving to him, but still, what's a haircut going to be, maybe $50 to $100?
I hope so.
Like,
I mean, to me, like.
But even that, is that worth it? Because how many could you, like, say one was in Tampa, like one was one place, and then the next one you had was
40 minutes
40
away.
minutes away. Like, because then you got drive time, and
Right.
you got, like, so you're moving constantly.
Right.
Like, what would you have to charge in order to make it viable?
I mean, I would think you would need to, like, double your rate. Like, okay, let's say, like, I go to a regular barbershop that's a little bit more high end.
You
right?
might be charged $45, maybe. On a high end.
Okay,
Like super,
well,
super. But if you're doing like fades and like crazy things,
yeah. If you're doing like crazy cool stuff,
we paid $20, well, not even $15 for our son's hair.
20 because we tip, and then so call it $20 out the door. But let's say it's 40, right? Like that's pretty high. I think we've paid 40 before.
Yeah. It was
Let's say you pay 40. I mean, that's consistent, right? Like, or you have a schedule and you show up when you have appointments.
What, $40? Like, what if it took you 20 minutes to get there, 20 minutes for the haircut?
Well, and that's what
it's $40 an hour.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Which is okay, but if you figure like most barbers can cut like
6 people's hair.
6 people, like if you're like old school like efficiency, like it's like 7 minutes to cut someone's hair.
At least 3 to 4.
So that's like 8 people an hour.
So you can make $60 to $100 an hour instead of 50,
like
40.
80,
right?
Call it 10. I mean, like, so
you're still trading time for money anyway.
Yeah.
So,
it's a service-based business, so it's hard to get over certain thresholds. But I don't know. Like, it just seems like I just don't understand the lag time, right? Like, like it's not a food truck. Like, food trucks make sense to me, right?
You park and then
I'm gonna go pick a location
with lots of people
that's densely populated, right? So that makes sense to me.
So you'd have to pick an office complex that was densely populated with males that wanted to get their haircut from you,
right?
Which is a little harder than a food truck.
Exactly, because you can only get like food trucks can like bust out some food quickly, right? Like I can get through some meals unless
what if
you
could make it more viable if you made it like you had upsells. So say you went to a place and not only did they get their hair cut, but you offered something else like a product, something that boosts that price up. You could potentially make it viable that way.
You could, but you could do that in a barbershop too.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to drive and they come to you like they always
trying to make it viable.
No, I get that.
I was trying.
No, I get that. So what it looks like to me happened is, and maybe it's just me, it looks like
it's probably just him, right?
It probably is. It looks like they may have seen or used a mobile vet service at one point, right?
Which is the same thing, by the way.
It is the same thing, except those people have to set an appointment.
True.
And
I would think these people would have to set an appointment too.
Well, okay, but it's higher priced service, and it's easier to charge more, right? Because, like, what's the convenience? Well, if you're older, or
you still have
wear and tear.
You still have wear and tear on a vehicle and gas and time.
I hear all that, but if you go on like the base price is higher.
What do you wait? What do you guys think? Let us know. Do you think that viable, good business, mobile businesses, good? Yes. Bad? Yes. What do you think? Sorry, go ahead.
So I'm just comparing the difference, right? Like, why is a mobile vet service more viable than the barber?
I don't know. Tell us.
Well, one, because your base, like the price of a visit is already higher, right? Like to go to the vet, it's already a set price. It's higher.
Yeah, we took our dog to the vet. It was like $300.
Right. Because he had issues.
That's another story for another day.
Anyways, but then you have a convenience factor that you can upsell for, right? Because older people, right, that may or may not be able to get an 8 or struggle to get an 80-pound dog into a car, right? It's nice that the vet can come to me, right? It's a convenience factor.
By the way, that was a profession that probably always traveled. Like back in the day, doctors and vets always traveled to farms and people.
Right. Yes. So, and then you go, like, and if you think about the other side of that, like, older dogs are sometimes challenging to get into vehicles, right? So,
and, like, I don't mean to be morbid, but sometimes people want to have their dogs put down at their house in the comfort of their own home.
Right. So
it's like hospice.
Right, exactly. So to, like, there's more...
Not exactly, by the way. That was a bad reference. Sorry.
There's more opportunity for you to be able to charge a premium for it. Like, the trade-off to me is just not there, right? Like, I would rather just...
I would be very curious what the ROI, what the breakdown financially is of a mobile haircut, mobile
barber.
If anybody knows or knows somebody and knows,
It'd be
I
epic.
would love to know. Message us, put the comments
Yeah,
below.
like tell us. I want to see one that's like
because I'm
having
sure.
lots of
Like,
success.
listen, this is what I do know. Is if you have enough momentum and you have enough creativity, you can make a lot of businesses work.
Oh, I think you can make it work. I just don't know that it's the best model for that.
I'll give you that. And here's the bottom line though. With any business, you have to think ahead of time. Is this the best model for this business?
There is one factor that I did not think of.
What's that?
So,
and then we got to go. These people.
I know. So here's the one factor I didn't think of that could, in theory, boost your revenue. You don't have to pay for rent. You don't have to pay for.
That is true.
Right. So like a vehicle is cheaper than a building.
That's true.
Right. So you could technically get a vehicle for less.
Which is the same reason why food trucks do well. They
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
have to have
Because you don't have that overhead. You don't have that massive overhead.
Like you might be able to buy an X party bus or a,
it was a party bus. Like,
but you might be able to get that for maybe like 80, 100,000, something like that,
Right.
and get it renovated and everything. Opposed to
consistently spending $2,000 to $3,000 a month on rent
or more.
Right? It just depends. Like I don't know. Depends.
I mean, if you bought a building, you might be buying a building for $500,000 instead of.
Well, it just depends on area and all those things, right?
That's a big thing too. This was in Tampa, a big city,
Right.
and there is like rent for places is probably higher.
Yeah.
If you want to purchase, it's probably higher too. So if you're going into a place that has really high, so say you went to a really high end area to do some of like either your food truck or your barbershop, and you, like the rent for those places in there was really high, it might be easier to get started that way.
Exactly. So
Very
that's my caveat to like the whole thing.
So the debate continues.
Like highly dense population, you could probably get away with it.
But you know what?
But you need a good customer base.
The moral of the story is think long and hard about your business model before you start, and is it actually the best business model for you? It may be, it may not be, but take a look at all the factors ahead of time. Yep. Hope you enjoyed. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out this next one.
Right here.
I'm sure you're gonna love it.